For the third time in the last 15 months, I'm sat here recording a video after a manager at Fleetwood has departed. Hello lads and ladies, and welcome back for another video on the channel. Today, immediate broadcast as Charlie Adam has left his role as Fleetwood Town head coach. This comes following the 2-0 defeat to Barrow yesterday at Holker Street, which made it 1 win in 12 for the Cod Army. Now, in recent weeks, performances have been a little bit poor. We beat Bradford on the 9th of November by a 1-0. However, the performance in that game wasn't a good one. We actually won it via a penalty kick as well. We then didn't play a game for 3 weeks, and after that I said we'll either go on a good run now or a poor run. I didn't think we'd carry on the drawing games or just scrapping 1-0 wins or losing 1-0. I thought we'd see a real rhythm. We drew 0-0 to Colchester and the performance was really poor. We then played Doncaster on the Wednesday and lose 4-2. However, you shake that off and you think they're a good side. Fleetwood have got a few injuries at that time as well. A couple of weeks ago, the Cod Army went to Swindon and lost by 3-1. But quite frankly, the worst performance I've ever seen from a Fleetwood Town team in the EFL. It was really bad all over the pitch. They lacked energy and they were very laboured. What followed that 9 days later on Monday evening was a 1-1 draw at home to Accrington. First half, again, poor. Didn't start off at all well enough. The players on the pitch, they weren't moving and the body language looked poor before the game. When they got onto the pitch, they looked a little bit tired and there was no option. When a player had the ball and somebody wanted the ball off them, they were staying pretty still and static. It was like the players were very, staggered in the roles as well. There was no movement there for them. On Saturday afternoon, we played away at Barrow. And quite frankly, from minute one, we got bullied, we got out-tussled, out-fought, they ran more than us, and in every blade of grass, Barrow covered more than us. It was really poor. The bench looked weak for its standards it has been at this point this season. The only notable names that you can bring on are the likes of Liam Shaw, who's 23 and had 9 clubs. After that, you're looking at an Owen Davenport, a Tommy Lonergan, who are young footballers, and if I'm honest with you, they haven't played enough games to be deemed good first-team players. Charlie Adam is without Brendan Wirradu, his captain, and probably the best player at the football club. Zep Medley, who would also play out long-term as well. And Holgate is also out for the season as well. To add to the likes of Elliot Bonds, who is also injured. Cole Johnston, also injured as well. You're looking at that, I would say 4 or 5 of those would start in our team. So there are problems at Fleetwood. We had a small squad, and in my eyes this season I expected anything between 11th and 16th. Fleetwood got relegated after 10 seasons in at the 3rd tier last year, and it was more than just a relegation. The club lost its owner, had to change ownership hands through 3 managers as well. They went through Scott Brown for the first month, Lee Johnson for 3 months, and then Charlie Adam until the end of the season as well. Fleetwood don't have the financial pulling power to pull players like Paddy Madden, Ched Evans. Charlie's job was to rebuild the football club and rebuild the culture and maybe keep us up. Unfortunately, it was damage limitation after those first 4 games he had. Away at Shrewsbury, at home to Derby, away at Cambridge and at home to Portsmouth, where the Cod Army lost the first 4 before drawing 2-2 away at Wickham on the 27th of January. Before wins on the 3rd and 6th of February against Port Vale and Bristol Rovers. However, after that, too many draws. In games, there was, in my eyes, could have been gambled a little bit more and we lacked quality on the pitch. For me, Charlie did a good job and did well enough to keep his job for this season as well. Only about 10 weeks ago, we beat Walsall, who are top of the table on 43.6 goals to 2, and they haven't lost a game since that night as well. Played really good stuff against Morecambe, really good football on the front foot. In that time, from about August till the middle of October, it was going quite well. We played Bromley after the Walsall game and things didn't look right after that as well, if I'm honest with you. Defeats away to Port Vale, which quite frankly wasn't good enough. A home defeat to Crewe, which I thought Fleetwood did enough to get a point out of in that game. The big one was Salford at home. 2-1 up, they score the last kick of the game and make it 2-2. I think the football was pretty static to watch. It was very much, well, it's one way. If it works, it works. However, you can only do so much when you've got players at your disposal. You're missing your best players. Sometimes it's hard to adapt. People were calling for a formation change. The club had recruited for a 3-5-2, and realistically, you can't carry bodies when you're Fleetwood Town in League Two, and you've got to be self-sustainable. But 1 win in 12, it's not just the result, because Fleetwood have actually got a few decent points in there as well. Obviously, in the last 10 games, it's 1 win, 4 draws, 5 defeats, which isn't great, by any means. However, it's not like you've been losing every week. We've been in games, and sometimes just losing the game by the odd goal. But the odd goal has now turned to 2 goals as well. And the performances for a prolonged period have been really poor. Swindon, Doncaster, Accrington, now Barrow. That's 4 really bad performances. And that's what was alarming me. It was not nice to watch towards the end. It was almost like the players had not were playing for Charlie, but were a little bit void of ideas and needed a bit of direction. And we're struggling on the pitch a little bit. My main focus was we lack pace and we lack movement in football matches. And then when you've not got that, you're not going to win games. And we looked like we had no plan B at times as well. I'm gutted personally for Charlie. Charlie was nothing but a breath of fresh air for the football club. He was honest. He was, totally honest with me. I had a decent relationship with him. He was always great when I recorded, stuff with him as well, and spoke well about his time at Fleetwood as well. And I know he was grateful for the opportunity that the football club gave him. Charlie, I think, will be back in football, as a coach or as a manager, wherever that will be at. But I'm very sure he'll get a job because he's a good person to build something at a football club. Again, people moan about the formation. I think that suited us, to be fair. Away from home, at home, there could have been a few adaptations at times. But I'm not a football manager. I'm not there to critique, if I'm honest with you. Am I happy with the decision, if I'm honest with you? No, I don't like seeing anyone lose a job. I think it's 2 games early, if I'm honest with you. And I very much understand that we've got 2 home games coming up and the form hasn't been good enough. And you can tell me in 2 games' time that we should have made this decision now and act on it over Christmas. I do think that, again, the club are worried because they don't want to go anywhere near the bottom 2. We are 8 points adrift, which, again, is a bit of a cushion, but Fleetwood Town shouldn't have to be looking over the shoulder when they've come down from League One. It should be more looking at, can we get into the playoffs? It's not an urgency, but can we get in there as well? It's a small sample size of a poor result. Again, I think Charlie Adam deserved at least another 2 or 3 games to turn it round. Unfortunately, he hasn't got that. That's football. It's a cruel game. And unfortunately, a man's lost his job. I don't think it's an attractive job, if I'm honest with you. I think that Fleetwood are in a decent position in the league, so that will tempt some managers. They won't think, right, they're on the brink of a relegation to the National League. It's a job where you can come in, get a few results, finish mid-table and look okay and build something for next season as well. Managers I'll be looking at is the likes of Dino Maria, John Brady. If I had to push, would be Pete Wild. I'd be very surprised if Pete Wild was to come to Fleetwood after his time at Barrow. I know he's had interest high up the pecking order as well. Managers I'd probably avoid would be Mark Kennedy after his time at Lincoln and obviously Swindon as well. I think we need a bit of experience, if I'm honest with you. Too many times over the years, Fleetwood have gone for an inexperienced manager and it's not really worked. With Barton, it worked to an extent, but there was a lot of money being spent there. That squad should have done what it did. It's immediate times for Fleetwood at this moment. That's 4 managers now in 15, 16 months. You can't keep swapping managers and, hoping it's going to work. Things just need to calm down at the football club. Hopefully results will change as well. There's more than enough quality to stay in this division as well. But again, it's a tough time for Fleetwood. 1 win in 12, loads of injuries. But Brendan Murray and Elliot Bonds and Carl Johnson are all on the way back, which is good news. I hope you enjoy it. Please like, please subscribe. It's an extra video for you as well. Again, we're on the road to 17,000 subscribers. Until next time, I will see you later.